Rob and Karie, News Talk 92.3 KTAR, the voice of Arizona.
Hi, my name is Terry, and I'm in the city of Maricopa. My son waited for his initial visit and then waited for a psych visit to get his meds changed, and he committed suicide 4 months ago, period. So if there isn't something that needs to be fixed there, then our government needs to have their eyes open, period.
Wow. That's the mom of a veteran who took his life after not getting the help he needed at the Phoenix VA Center. And you hear a mom talk like that, my eyes are filling up with tears right now because I can't imagine. You know, you want to do everything you can for your child, and they go off to war, they serve their country, they come back, and they expect to be at least physically taken care of. And then the mental would be like the icing on the cake, right? Well, the allegation is that that's not happening here at the Phoenix VA.
Yet, despite that, lawmakers were told today there's no evidence to support any of these allegations, so we've asked Senator Jeff Flake to join us. Senator, respond to these reports today, if you could. First of all, thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us. I know you just got off the floor, you were voting. But, you know, if you're being told that there's no evidence to support the allegations, up to 40 patients died on waiting lists, and there's other kinds of corruption, what do you say to that?
Well, I would say that statement is unfortunate and very premature. The Inspector General is conducting an investigation right now. They have not issued a preliminary report, so any review that's been done is by the agency itself. And so to imply that they're given an all clear is just wrong. Like I said, if these allegations are correct, if there was a secret list, if they manipulated data, then heads are going to roll, and we're going to have a big problem. But we're waiting for the investigation. We're trying to see what the timetable on that is, but there has been no preliminary report coming back.
Well, that's why you get paid the big bucks. You're in the Senate now, so you get to deal with these things, whether or not you want to. Is the VA too big to fix if it turns out that this is actually happening, and maybe not just in Phoenix, but in other VAs around the country? Is it time for a rebuild rather than a remodel?
Well, there may well be. These problems seem to be systemic. We've had problems in Georgia, Florida, and elsewhere just recently. These wait times are a big problem. Obviously, they'll say we just don't have the resources, but even when they are given the resources, we see these problems. So we may have to do something broader and deeper.
Senator Jeff Flake is joining us on Rob and Karie. We're talking about the problems at the Phoenix, specifically the Phoenix VA healthcare system. You mentioned resources just a second ago. The resources I've been reading about at Phoenix are almost $500 million to treat about 80,000 some odd veterans. You know, I look at that number, and, you know, again, not being an expert on healthcare costs, and I say, seems like they should be able to get it done without having to do this. What else can we do in the immediate time now to get veterans help here in Phoenix today, not 6 months from now, Senator?
Well, we asked Senator McCain and myself when we met with Ms. Hellman and others at the VA last week, or the week before last, is this a matter of resources? And they said, no, we have the resources with regard to the list. I'm talking about getting the waiting list down to a manageable time frame. And they said that no, they had been given the resources, and I know in Congress we've certainly worked hard to make sure that they're adequately resourced to deal with the population that shows up. And so I think when you say the numbers, this is a big metropolitan area. You have a lot of winter visitors here. I don't think anybody can discount the challenges that are there at the Phoenix VA system, but when there are allegations of secret lists, this kind of thing, then we've got to get to the bottom of it.
Senator, we got a call from somebody saying exactly that, this so-called secret list that you could put on that magically disappears if something untoward happens. I'm going to play you about 10 seconds of this.
Yeah, this is Jeff Phoenix. Yeah, my dad was a veteran, and he was on that waiting list, and he died waiting after he had Agent Orange exposure. So, no, I don't really want to push anybody towards the military anymore because of it. I think the VA hospital got out of hand. My mom is retired, and she deals with it the same way.
That was a caller from somebody who said, no, my dad was actually on that very list. And I know it's impossible to track down every one of these, complainants, especially if any evidence of wrongdoing has been literally erased or shredded or done away with. How do you trust an agency to truly get to the bottom of this in somewhat of an expedient manner?
Well, one, you make use of whistleblowers or some of the doctors that have come forward, and also they'll be talking to patients as well. Second, the Inspector General and also the House Committee on Veterans Affairs ordered the VA not to destroy or move any information because they wanted to conduct a full investigation. And so their measures are being taken to try to ensure that the information is there. Specific allegations have been made about, using a screen capture of information and then not logging it into the system. If that is the case, if those allegations prove to be true, the Inspector General, I'm confident, will find it. And that investigation is going on right now.
So, Senator Jeff Flake joining us on Rob Karie. What are the options that in the Senate have to deal with if this is criminal? Do you go after them criminally? People involved in this? Can you fire people? How quickly do you have to wait for that? What other reorganization procedures are going to have to go through the Senate, the House? I guess ballpark it for me. What are we looking at? Are we looking at 6 months before change can be done? A year? A couple of months?
I wouldn't think it's going to be that long. It certainly better not be. There's an investigation going on by the House Veterans Affairs Committee. I talked to Jeff Miller, the chairman, a couple of days ago. My staff has been meeting with his as well. There's also, as I mentioned, the Inspector General report or investigation. That is an independent investigation. People need to understand that this is not the VA just investigating itself. That investigation is going on right now, and Senator McCain and I have asked for the Senate Committee on Veterans Affairs to conduct an investigation as well. Bernie Sanders, the chairman, has told us that he's going to wait until the IG comes back with their information. We hope to convince him to move ahead more quickly. But in the meantime, we sent a letter today to the Inspector General, the IG, asking what the timetable is and to get an idea of just what you were asking, how long this is going to take. And then, obviously, it depends on what we find in the investigation. If it's a criminal matter, that will be taken care of by the Department of Justice. If it's just ineptitude or something else, changes will be made, but that's what the investigation is for.
I'm reading that letter that you sent today right now as we speak, and there's a tremendous amount of distrust out there right now about somebody picking up the phone and calling a government agency, unfortunately so. If somebody's listening and does have a story to tell, I don't mean to play silent witness with you, but what is the simplest way for them to get their story to somebody who will use it in this investigation?
Well, the nice thing is the Arizona Republic, the media has been great on this. You guys have looked into it. CNN has done some stories on it. So the nice thing is outside of the system, the media has done its job, and that's great. Also, our offices, we have caseworkers that deal only with this issue, only with Veterans Affairs issues, and so please feel free to contact our office and Senator McCain as well as the members of the House who represent Arizonans. They'll be glad to take down information and look into it and pass it on when appropriate.
Senator, are you satisfied with where we're at right now? I mean, I think the allegations were first made just a couple of weeks ago on April 10th. So fast forward to almost 3 weeks later, having started this process, are you happy with where we're at now? Or do you want things to move faster?
No, I think we need to move faster, and I particularly wasn't pleased with the statement today that some preliminary investigation had basically exonerated the VA of anything. Like I said, the IG has not come back with any preliminary information, so that would be the agency itself saying, don't look here anymore. Nothing's going on. And these allegations are serious enough. And there's been enough, it's been corroborated by enough people that that we need to look into it seriously and independently.
I know you can't speak for Senator McCain, but I have to imagine with his incredible record of military service, this has to bother him more than the average issue that comes up.
Well, you're exactly right. And I spent a lot of time with him at the VA and then traveling, obviously, back here and time here. And he's not happy, and he's determined to get to the bottom of it. And I think you're right. His experience, it's got to hit him even harder.
You don't want to get on McCain's bad side. I've seen it. It's not a good place to be. Sort of like a military camp in itself. No,
yeah.
Just kidding.
And I
That's
guess,
right. Let me just say again, we are not prejudging this. What we are saying is, if these allegations are correct, then this is serious, and there is enough substance, it seems, to the allegations to do a complete, thorough, independent investigation. And so that's what we're doing.
Yeah, and thanks for staying on top of that, Senator. And I think the encouragement that we're getting too is we're all kind of in this together. We all want the veterans who have served to be taken care of, whether that's Vietnam, World War II, whether it's Iraq, Afghanistan, whether it's today, whether it's 20 years ago. So whatever it is that we can do too to do this together, to put the pressure on. If we need to reorganize this whole thing, you have that support.
You bet. It hits a lot of people. From myself, my father is a veteran, and he depends on services, some of the services of the VA, and so I know that we want to make sure that those who have served are treated properly. It means not just everything to those who have served, but those who might serve in the future. Can you imagine trying to decide whether or not you want to serve in our armed forces and seeing how veterans are treated now? You want to make sure that for all the good reasons and selfish reasons moving ahead, we want people to be able to volunteer to serve in our armed forces. And unless veterans are treated well, that's not going to happen.
And feel good about it. Thanks, Senator, for your time. Senator Jeff Flake talking about looking at the issues at the Phoenix VA and elsewhere and making sure vets get the care they deserve.
I hope he's right. I hope the process speeds up and we get answers quickly. But I liked Flake's point about disregard the story on our website from the VA.
Yeah.
That's their own
Pay no
investigation.
attention to that.
Exactly. We got to get out of here. Mac and Gato's coming your way next. She's Carrie Dozer. I'm Rob Hunter. We'll talk to you tomorrow between noon and 3.